So I guess we should thank Obama. At least they're just doing staged events that aren't real. Kind of like the Gulf of Tonkin, saying the ship was attacked and it wasn't. But then that led to the war that killed millions on the Vietnamese side, 58,000 on the U.S. side. But talking to counselor, lawyer Gary Fielder, who's been fighting the naked body scanners. So briefly, you went through this with your family. Describe what happened.
So when they led us around the boxes, which was this backscatter X-ray device, you're in an area and you can see their instruments. You know what's going to happen next. So I turned around and I saw a blue glove on my 9-year-old daughter's shoulder. And I said, hey, what are you doing? Get your hands off my child. What is happening here?
No, they're training you to take your children away from you. They're training you to go into prison camps.
So you know what I did. I just started talking in a very monotone, low volume, and I didn't stop talking until I put my shoes on 5 minutes later. And throughout the process, I was just objecting. This is outrageous. I can't believe you're subjecting us to this. We're being treated like criminals. We've done nothing wrong. All of you have a subconscious need to do this, otherwise you wouldn't be doing it. And it went on and on. But I want you to envision, Alex, your children know how you feel. My children know how I feel. For them to stand there and watch their father actually have to submit or just stay in San Diego was one of the most devastating things I've ever been through in my life.
Yeah, they teach you that the government is God, and now all these top psychologists are on record saying these pat-downs of children are teaching them to be molested. And now when we have TV on or I'm researching and my children hear about the pat-downs of children, we have to explain to them that's wrong. These are bad government people, and don't let anybody else touch you like this. I mean, this... It's total psychological warfare, Gary.
It's a total psych-off. Where are the fraternal orders of police who often say they're proud to wear the uniform? Where are the firefighters who have to earn that uniform? These people are put into uniforms, and so your children think that they're law enforcement officers. They're not law enforcement officers by statute. They're not trained in the Constitution. And so our children are standing there. One is their father objecting. The other is their government that they've been taught to be obedient to. They're put into a heavy conflict situation.
Well, it's more than that. That's a great point, Gary. This is a new division of kind of minimum wage quasi-police expanding on the streets of America. Literally, and now they're giving grants to police to take blood without warrants. I mean, this country's going down, and they know exactly what they're doing.
Well, I want to know where the American Cancer Society is. A lot of people have given them a lot of money. Instead of the NFL putting out these silly little ads, forcing us to go along with it, I want to see the NAACP step up. Black people's rights are being violated just like white people's rights. Where's Mothers Against Drunk Driving? Don't you see that the government is trying to...
Well, I mean, the NAACP is there to make sure 51% of blacks are aborted. They're set up by the eugenicist. If you want to kill the blacks, you got to pose as their friend. And that came out with Margaret Sanger. They set all that up. Stay there. We're coming back in 1 minute. We'll be right back.
Waging war on corruption. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. Big Brother. Mainstream media. Government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
We're into hour number 2. Dr. Mercola is going to be joining us. Then I've got a bunch of financial news, incredible new TSA developments, key intel on the whole WikiLeaks situation. They're now confirming that they basically want to end the Internet as we know it to stop the leaks that lead right back to the CIA. Assange himself clearly is the bag man. They're flushing down the commode here. But we're almost out of time, Gary Fielder, the lawyer who's been fighting successfully against the body scanners. Recapping, this should be duplicated in other parts of the country, especially now that we learned the federal courthouse in Miami saved 30,000+ of these images and then even released some of them are now out there in the public. The feds have been caught saving the images at the airport and lying. Recap briefly your success in Denver, and so others can duplicate it. And B, what your lawsuit specifically is going to do and your injunction with the TSA.
Well, I was successful at some level in getting the policy to change down in a local courthouse in Castle Rock, Colorado here, simply by just objecting and repeatedly objecting, threatening to file a lawsuit, appearing on your show, but never having to officially file a complaint. I now walk through that area, although they still have the scanner.
But the difference is those are actual sheriff's deputies who know the law, and you pointed out this violates child porn laws under 18. I mean, the problem is with TSA, they can find dumbed-down people that will be radiated and like grabbing kids' genitals.
And I was happy to note that when I went on a vacation in the summer to my hometown of Eagle River, Alaska, that the video that we had posted with regards to that event helped change the policy in Anchorage, where the lawyers were in an uproar about a body scanner that was going into that courthouse. So we've had some success with it, but I've seen this particular issue, as you have, coming down the pipe for a long time. So when it finally happened to me, I waited for approximately 6 weeks. The national outcry developed, and I did not think that I was going to have to file a lawsuit. I thought they were going to change. They not only did not change, but they buckled down even further. So I began to prepare my complaint, which you can find at informationliberation.com, and I noted something that I wanted to talk about for many years. If you read the Fourth Amendment, it says the right of the people to be secure in their persons against unreasonable search and seizure shall not be violated. So the Fourth Amendment is not a right extended to all persons like the Fifth Amendment is. It's the right of the people. I entered the San Diego airport with my passport. I worked hard to get that passport, and I know you have one, Alex, but if you flip to the first page of that passport, it says the Secretary of State of the United States of America hereby requests all whom it may concern to permit the citizen of the United States named herein to pass without delay or hindrance. I have an official passport. When I show that passport to the TSA, they can swipe it. They can check me for
but
warrants.
It is a lawful command, and their little flimsy made-up regulation does not trump the order.
Well, we've been doing this sort of procedure now for approximately 40 years. I was 8 years old when I took my first flight, and I got to walk to the plane. And it wasn't there long after that these metal detectors were introduced to us. But they were specifically designed and engineered not to touch us. That's the whole point of the wand. That's the whole point of the freestanding metal detector, so that you can walk through it. I want to make sure in the time that we have remaining to rebut this point that you don't have a right to fly. That's absolute BS, Alex. In this day and age, how can you express yourself? How can you be a musician? How can you be an artist? How can you be a radio talk show host, a lawyer, a doctor? How can you engage in commerce if you have to drive from Austin to New York?
No, Bob Barr agrees with that. The Constitution is clear, and we've got right on our side. We've got to fight this police state takeover. We're going to have you back on in the near future, Gary, as your injunction and suit moves forward. God bless you. I appreciate you joining us, and we're going to be right back with Dr. Mercola. Stay with us.
From his Central Texas Command Center, deep behind enemy lines, the information war continues. It's Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
Well, for the rest of this hour, and hopefully a little bit into the next hour, Dr. Joe Mercola, really a preeminent researcher, is our guest. And so much of what he covered 10, 15 years ago, the bisphenol A, the danger of cell phones, the GMO, it's now all mainstream. I mean, it was on Fox News last night, all these big studies about it brain damaging and hurting children, the cell phones. And they're letting you know now so that they can say, well, we warned you. Kind of like for 50 years they told you tobacco was good for your lungs. Then suddenly, well, it might not be good for you. And this is all part of a larger program of eugenics, but we'll get his take on that and go through a laundry list of issues. But this is so important because these are things we can do things about. 10 years ago, you couldn't find organic food in stores. Now people demand it. It's supplanting, you know, all the other GMO stuff. So the government's moving in saying they don't want you to have to label GMO or GMO salmon. It's the same thing on bisphenol A being pulled out all over the place. We're going to talk about it with Dr. Mercola in just a minute. Real fast, Charlotte Iserby, former head of policy at the Department of Education, she is pretty much retired. She wrote this big phone book-size book, The Deliberate Dumbing Down of America, that has all the government documents about the plan that goes back almost 100 years to slowly dumb down our society, to break up the family. You see how successful it is. She has the smoking guns. We got like 700 of these and bought out everything she had, and they sold out. And she said, well, I was going to keep a couple hundred of these to give to friends and family, but she called me and said, I'm getting so many calls asking for them since you sold out. I don't want to deal with it. I'm selling them to you. So those are now being shipped to us. We've got a little under 200 left. If you want to order them, they're at Infowars.com right now. They are now officially out of print. By the way, these things on Amazon are selling for $200 to $900 a piece. I don't know why. We were selling them for $40 and people were flipping out. So the point is, it's got to be one of the hottest out-of-print books out there. And I just wanted to get her back on the show and called her, and she said, hey, I'm done. So if you want to buy them, go ahead. How many do you want? And I said, well, give them all to me. I'll sell them over the next year. Well, it took less than 24 hours. So she scrounged up a little under 200 and some more hardcovers, but we're going to hold off until next week with those because they're signed. But the soft covers right now, Deliberate Dumbing Down of America, available at Infowars.com or by calling 888-253-3139 if you want to get those. Also, I want to tell you about one of our great sponsors. It's eFoodsDirect.com, the super high-quality, non-GMO, non-hybrid, storable foods company. It lasts more than 10 years in climate control, 10 years in non-climate control like my garage. They've got a bunch of special diets, all sorts of gourmet, freeze-dried, and they got it all, and they're patriots, and they are the name in storable foods, and their food is made fresh every week, not 10-year-old junk like a lot of other companies. So this is where I get my storable food, eFoodsDirect.com or 800-409-5633, 800-409-5633, or eFoodsDirect.com. You'll never stand in a bread line if you have your own bread. It is so important for people to get into the position of getting self-sufficient. And along that same line, finally, before we go to Dr. Mercola, I'm proud to welcome this wonderful sponsor, a well-known company in the preparedness field for, well, now right at 10 years. You can check them out at www.prepared.pro. That's Prepared.pro, prepared.pro. You can also get to their store at theprisonplanet.com, where we have a banner on the right-hand side of the page. These folks have been in the readiness business for 10 years. They're fond of saying they're in the business of steel-plated peace of mind. They got a lot of amazing stuff on the site. I have even bought some things off their site. They sell everything you need to be more ready for what's coming down the pike. Well, it's already here. Survival gear, supplies, even steel-plated underground shelters and safe rooms. Tell them I sent you again. It's prepared.pro for all your professional crisis preparedness assistance. I mean, the government and private corporations are like an armed madhouse building up their weapons, their hardened bunkers against us. We need to get prepared. Okay. I am really excited about having our guest on. And, of course, he's Dr. Joseph Mercola, and he's done so many amazing things. I don't even know here with his bio where to start, but he reaches millions of people every week with his website and his organizations. And so I know he didn't like to toot his own horn, but in a couple minutes, Dr. Mercola, before we launch into all this key information, what's most important for folks to know about you who may not know who you are?
Well, I'm the founder of Mercola.com, which now currently is the third most visited health site in the world. We're right behind the National Institutes of Health and WebMD, and we just passed Mayo Clinic. So we're number 3 in the world, and gives us a platform to really educate people about the fraud and deception that's occurring from the drug industry and the food industry.